Hey there, I'm Greg Finn.
And I'm Jess Budd.
And it is officially Marketing O'Clock here on August 2nd, 2019. Remember, you can catch our critically acclaimed famous Friday news shows each and every Friday morning.
And if you want to follow along with us, just check out our show notes. Head over to marketingoclock.com for all the links from today's articles.
And please subscribe so that you don't miss a single episode. Jess, we've got big news here at the top of the show.
Big news? What you got?
Coming by way of Ginny Marvin and Search Engine Land, Google extends same meaning close variants to phrase match, broad match modifiers. And in case you don't know what close variants are, click through the show notes and read the entire article. Ginny does a great job explaining what has transpired starting all the way back in 2014 when close variants were introduced, what happened in 2017 where the word, order, and function words were added into close variants, and last year where we got the same meaning words and exact match. But before we get to that, Ginny's the best. And from the article itself on Search Engine Land, there's a byline that Ginny wrote. You knew it was coming. Here's what's changing. And underneath that, she starts the article with, when same meaning close variants rolled out to exact match keywords last fall, the joke was that phrase match was more exact than exact match. That joke is dead now.
R.I.P. in peace.
Jess, that was my joke. We did a bunch of training.
You're right.
And those are our jokes. We're like,
Yeah.
phrase match, they should call it exact match.
I know.
Our joke is dead.
It's dead. We can't even say that. We were saying that to clients.
Yeah,
we were like pushing it. We can't do any of that now.
But
R.I.P.
in reality, we saw some slides from this at Google Marketing Live this year that the close variants are rolling out to phrase match and modified broad match. And in my estimation, we're actually going to see a lot more variety. It's going to have a much more greater impact than we saw with the change in 2018 to those exact match terms. Google also showed us that some examples of how this may look. And so the examples they chose, I didn't really like them. They kind of made it seem worse than it really was. They showed some broad match modifier keywords where you put a plus in front of a term, and it should closely match that, but give it some leeway. And they showed the query before the update was, or the query is plus lawn, plus mowing, plus service. And before the update, it would show for something like services to mow my lawn. That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Service is pretty close to service. Lawn is lawn, and mow is close to mowing. So the matched queries after the update, Google did themselves no favor with this example. They said grass cutting and gardening services.
Ooh.
Again, it's grass cutting matches lawn, matches grass.
Yeah.
Mowing matches cutting, and service matches services. But they didn't need to throw the gardening in there because that's totally different.
Yeah, that's a good example of how broad can work.
And that's broad match exactly. Yeah. They just heightened the broad match. So I'm thinking maybe this is gonna be worse than expected.
Maybe.
Also, not only is it rolling out to broad modified, it is rolling out to phrase match as well. And so again, that was the big joke that phrase match, you still had to have that phrase included.
Right.
Phrase match now doesn't mean anything. It's doesn't mean anything.
What's
Neither
the
does
point?
exact match.
What's the point of any of them then? Just put your keywords in there and. Sorry, go ahead.
You're getting to where everybody's going with this, Jess. And in addition, Google says that 15% of its daily searches are new, and advertisers will miss out on these new queries if the matching is too tightly controlled. So I'm going to be positive about this. I have come around completely on misspellings.
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea how terrible mobile search would be back in 2014 when I threw a fit. So again, I like the misspelling changes. Yeah. I'm coming from a place of positivity here. Everything else, I mean, what are we doing with match types at this point?
Why have them? I just don't get it.
We're going to get to that in a second. So Google also said that it expects advertisers using phrase and broad match modifier to see 3 to 4% more clicks and conversions on these keywords. And of those new clicks, 85% are expected to be net new on average, meaning they're not covered by the existing keywords.
Then you're not doing your job. If it's
Amen,
relevant to
sister.
you. Yeah.
Amen. Additionally, they say that you're going to maintain control and flexibility.
How? You're not. Sorry.
We're being
Sorry.
positive here
Sorry.
today.
Sorry.
So they're saying with the updates, it's important. Basically, Google is going to try to figure out what keyword is currently getting the search to show, getting the ad to show in search, and they're going to roll with that. So if you had a bunch of different exact terms, and now they're going to be overlapping, whichever term is most closely matched, they're going to show that term and that ad related to it. Okay. This change will roll out in the coming weeks. So good luck. Good luck knowing when that's coming. This is a decent change that you're throwing on everybody. I know that if you're savvy enough, you saw the slides, you know that it's coming. But to put this on people who might have been like, oh, I need to have this phrase in there, and then you're like, oh, it's in the coming weeks.
Right.
Be like, how about you be proactive like Danny is with the organic team? You know when this is rolling out. Give us a heads up and say this is the date that it's happening, or this something. Let people prepare. You don't have to say coming weeks and something like this.
Coming weeks could mean anything too, right? That to me could be up to like 2 months, I feel like. Did you say 6 to 8 weeks? That's within a 2-month frame, but it's coming weeks. So it could be, tomorrow, could be whatever.
Yeah, it might be coming like Google Attribution was coming back in 2016.
We never got that, right?
Oh, no. They changed the color. It's not purple anymore. It's red. So anyway, I got in a whine off on Twitter with Mark Gustafson at Mark P. Gus on Twitter. And he made a really great point that you need to diversify and think more about strategy than tactics. The future for pure tactical practitioners looks pretty bad, in my opinion. Probably is still a few years out, but I think it'll eventually become obsolete. And he said, and then while I'm at it with predictions, I think tactical management will be so straightforward that mega agencies will be the new norm. It will be a race to the bottom for price on execution because there will be little value to add. Wow. That's good. That should be the take of the week.
I was going to say that's a hot take.
The take of the week is coming.
We'll get there.
That's where I'm gonna let it all come out.
Okay.
And to me, I think that makes sense. If you look at display, you see things like targeting expansion.
Right.
And I'd imagine at some point, Google dumbs this down enough to people where you say, here's a keyword, and then what is our expansion going to be? Is it off, where it's exact? And then is it more reach, where you're getting more towards broad? Kind of like we have with audiences now.
You can just slide it.
Why would you have something called phrase match and something called exact match when they literally mean neither of those things?
You're completely right.
So you put a keyword in and you say, give me more, give me less. I think that's where they're going with it.
Yeah, which at least then it would be clear, kind of, well, it's still not clear, but you would know a little bit more. You would understand a little bit better what's happening versus the way we're all used to and the way things are traditionally named right now. And I'm just thinking about going through my, search query reports daily now instead of weekly and just really staying on top of stuff because negative keywords are going to be so important.
It's going to be hourly pretty soon. In the coming weeks here.
In the coming weeks, yes.
So we've got a little bit more of this on the take of the week. What do we have here next, Jess?
All right. Next up here is from Search Engine Journal's Matt Southern, and that's at Matt G. Southern on Twitter. And the article is called Facebook is letting more advertisers place ads in the search results. So this is a thing. We talked about it. It started a while back in December, I think, for a limited number of advertisers, and now we're in August, and it's rolling out.
Do they have close variants?
They don't even have. They don't even have. We'll get to that. Okay. That's an excellent question, and I want to talk about it. So it's still not out there for everybody. I didn't see it in any of my accounts. Have you checked to see if you have it?
Jess, I don't have the new ads manager. Still? Yes. I still need to use incognito mode in order to change ads.
Well, we need to talk about that. Actually, we'll save that because there's a new business manager too, which we'll talk about in a minute. But
guess who doesn't have that either?
So you have none of these things. Well, don't feel bad because I don't have this either, but I don't really know if I want it. So, but folks have started to see it and it's something interesting to test. But again, this is a placement available in your Facebook ad. So just like the news feed or the right-hand side or whatever, you can put in Now, if you see it available, you can have search results be a placement. And some caveats with this to be aware of is that in order for the search result placement to show, you do need to actually have the news feed selected as one of your placements. So that's a thing. And then the bigger thing here is that even though they use the term search, and it is for search results, it's nothing like search ads like we're used to, on Microsoft ads or on Google. So there's no keywords at all to your question. You don't put in keywords that you're targeting for this whatsoever. It's you will show up based on searches related to your quote business offerings.
Fantastic.
Right?
This would make all search based off of audience and nothing about the actual query or intent.
Correct.
Love it. Perfect.
Nothing.
Great.
So our best guess is that, you want to make sure that your page talks about what your business offers and is as accurate and complete as possible, because that's where they're getting this from. But they don't really say how specifically to influence this. So I don't know.
When Google came out with this change from the previous article, I'm just like, this is a really good opportunity for some other savvy advertiser to come in and give us more control.
Mm-hmm. Not here.
No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
It's not happening here at all. So again, if it works well, if you want to just trust the process, it's probably a nice addition, but we like control over here and you have almost none with this. So it's something, certainly, if you have it available, test it, see how it works, but you got to check your placements and check your reporting and see if it's doing anything. You just have to watch it because who knows?
Okay. Was that a Sam Hinkie reference?
A who?
Joel Embiid? No?
What?
Okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought that was just a phrase.
You're the number one basketball fan, so I didn't know if you were going deep on some basketball.
Is that a basketball? Is that like a quote from Space Jam? Because I've seen the film.
No, it's a quote from a tanking team that ended up making the playoffs.
Who's that?
76ers.
Oh, they were pretty late in the playoffs too.
Yeah, you shouldn't have seen them in 2015. I'll tell you that.
Tanking,
Next up, though, is a new change here in 2019, a new way to unify app and website measurement in Google Analytics. And this comes from Russell Ketchum. So Google Analytics is bringing us a way to show all of the data from our apps and the web in one spot.
Love it.
Additionally, they're bringing forward flexible event measurement so that you're going to be able to measure events in a consistent way. You sell tickets on your app, you sell tickets on your website. You just want to know about tickets sold. So you'll be able to have, again, this flexible, unified event measurement, which is awesome. Again, you can start measuring across platforms. And one of the things that really stuck out to me as being amazing to me is what they had in what was called their cross-platform analysis section. And Google reporting, at least for me, I don't know about you, Jess, it's been replaced completely by Data Studio.
I have thoughts on that.
What are your thoughts?
We'll get to them later, but
okay.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yes, I use Data Studio a lot.
But the secondary GIF in this article shows the drag and drop ability to make actual good reports in Google Analytics.
Yeah.
And right now it is a very cumbersome process to try to get anything from those reports, and then sharing the reports is a nightmare.
Yeah.
So looking at this potential opportunity here, it's almost like a faux data studio within analytics where you're not so tied down to these preset conditions.
Yeah, I think the nicest thing about this, because it looks really, really awesome, again, assuming it works, and that's my gripe with Data Studio, which we'll get to.
Or assuming that we ever get it.
Also that, yeah,
Okay.
if we get it. But it just looks so intuitive to use. And, those of us that have been in Google Analytics for a while, we can figure our way around the custom reports, but they're still kind of a bear. And this looks so much easier.
And that's the thing. It's so dumbed down
Yeah.
in the standard analytics view that you really just can't see much anymore.
Yep.
And you have to export out to Data Studio. So if you didn't have to always go to Data Studio, that's a big plus to me.
Totally, 100%. I'm
Cool.
in. In other news from Google, but this is on the paid side, Google app campaigns are expanding to discover feeds, and AdMob is testing ads on app loading screens. This is an article from Ginny Marvin with Search Engine Land. So if you're running app campaigns on Google Ads, your ads are now eligible to show in a few more places, which is nice.
You know what I really was missing in life, Jess?
What's that?
The ability to show ads while an app was loading.
I mean,
That's just, I was like, you know what? When do I really want to get in front of customers? Right before they're about to get into something that they're probably really waiting for because it's loading.
you know what the best part about that is, Greg? you have no control over where your ads show. In
Who
these
saw
campaigns.
this coming? Oh, fantastic.
So for anyone that doesn't know, app campaigns in Google Ads are fully automated. So you have this inventory available and your ad may or may not show across it. You cannot opt in or out to any of these specific pieces of inventory. So there was the stuff that already existed, and then now they have added, like I said, the Discover feed. They're also adding YouTube search results, mobile only placements, as well as in-stream display video placements. So that's really nice. Again, if you're a big fan of just throwing caution to the wind and letting things go, but no control here. So you might be showing up before as an app loads, which is nice, I guess, for the app creator. They can monetize in a place where they're slow, but for the rest of us, it doesn't really make any sense. I don't know. I feel like I don't want to get too much into this because it's just like the sad song we've been singing.
I can't go too dark this early in the show, Jess. I just can't.
Fair enough. We'll check the show notes if you want more details. But yeah, the basic thing here is more app ads inventory is available now. Check it.
Great. Fantastic. All right. Well, if you are as disheartened as I am and looking to put ad budget elsewhere, Snapchat launches an instant tool for creating vertical ads. There's a new tool coming, Jess. First one since like 2006.
What?
Fear Inoculus. And Snapchat has a tool coming out this week called Instant Create.
That's cute.
Jess,
Yes.
with Instant Create, you can create an ad. Guess how?
Instantly?
Wrong.
Wait,
No.
wait, really?
No, yes. It is with 3 steps.
That's not instant.
I know.
Rename this tool. 3
Three
step
step
create.
There you go. So you select your objective, and it can be increase web visits, app installs, or app visits. You enter your business website, not your personal one.
I'm glad you understood why I was giggling.
And then you finalize your targeting. Then you're ready to publish.
Publish what? So
Your
you
ad.
put in your stuff and then the ad is instantly
Yes.
created?
So
Okay.
what happens is Instant Create can pull in photos from the URL itself,
Okay.
which is going to be great, I'm sure.
I'm sure they're going to
Yeah, I
pick
hope it
the
doesn't
right one.
pull your logo and just make it huge. You can choose if you want to use the imported images or if you want to upload a new one from your computer. And it is a streamlined flow that is only possible for Snap ads. So if you want any type of other ad formats, you have to use Advanced Create, not Instant Create. It is currently available to all advertisers now. And Jess, it seems like you're now going to be able to make those ads in a snap.
Oh, that's cute. Not necessarily instantly, even though that's the name, but in a snap
No,
is
in
good.
a snap.
I like that.
3 snaps, some say.
Snap, snap, snap. Okay. Lastly, here in our main news is another change from Facebook. We alluded to this a little bit earlier. Business Manager has officially been redesigned for some of us. Not Greg. Poor Greg. I have it. I had it actually before I even saw an announcement about it. I was super stoked. I thought it was like one of the first.
You really know how to make a guy feel great.
I know. Sorry, you're trying to be so positive, and I'm just tearing you down here. This is rolling out to everyone in a nice phased approach, which of course is why you don't have it yet. But it is maybe you're phase 2. I don't know. It matches the layout of the new Ads Manager, which again you don't have. I thought I saw a notification though in there that you were only able to switch back to the old view until July 31st. So I would have thought that everybody would have been updated by then. So I don't know what's going on. Clearly these phases are taking longer than planned. But anyway, in addition to a facelift, which looks, again, a little bit more like the Ads Manager if you have it, they tried to make it easier to update who on your team has access to what with new bulk permissions management, which is nice because it's easier just to select all the things that someone should have access to. So that's really nice. Facebook said their goal is, quote, making our platform easier and more consistent to use, and also that we should expect to see more improvements coming down the pipe in the future, which I sure hope so, because there are still a lot of things that need work. And I'm tempted to rant here, but I'm going to follow your lead and be super positive. What is the phrase? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Is that right?
I think it's don't kiss a gift horse in the mouth.
Where are you supposed to kiss a gift horse then?
I can't tell you that.
All right, well, I'm not going to kiss anybody's horse because there are still some things, like I said, that I think they could really be working on instead of just, a side navigation versus top. But anyway, I appreciate that they're trying, and I hope that new and exciting things come.
Yes, I think a wise woman named Jess Budd once said, it couldn't get much worse than as it is right now.
Have I said that?
I think so.
Probably about this too. So anyway, hopefully you all see it in your accounts soon.
All right, well, that does it for this week's news. Now it's time for this week's Take of the Week. This is a hashtag Fire Digital Marketing Take with extra spice served up for you. Jess?
Yes.
To choose your own adventure this week.
Oh, I'm excited.
I've got 6 takes.
Holy cow. Okay.
You choose the best one.
Okay.
It's an old-fashioned takeoff. 3, 2, 1, takeoff.
I love
Coming
it.
at you. All right, first up, Mark Gustafson, at Mark P. Gus on Twitter. Literally, and this goes all caps, and flip over the
Should
first
I look
page.
at my sheets?
I've got it there just so you can remember.
Beautiful.
Print it out.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Literally, all caps. Who would say, yeah, Google, give me 3 to 4% more clicks at the same price, and I'll let you match 85% of them to completely different terms? WTF. Hashtag PPC rants.
That's pretty good.
Okay, that's number 1, Mark Gustafson. Number 2, Melissa Mackey at Mel66. Feels like the last step before Google removes keywords entirely.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid because that is search's differentiator right now. They can claim to understand intent without keywords, but they don't.
I like that.
It's a tough one this week.
I'm already torn.
got a
We
hard
got
job.
4 more.
Yes, next up, Julie Bacchini at Neptune Moon on Twitter. You know what would be better than this? Parentheses for advertisers. Suggesting those brand new queries as keywords you might want to add and letting the advertisers decide. I'm feeling ranty. I'm tired from vacation. Hashtag PPC chat. That wasn't me, that last part, Jess.
No,
that was Julie.
That's a hot take in itself, though. She's tired from vacation.
She knows
Poor
how to
thing.
vacation.
Yeah. I know. She's
We need some
vacationing
tips.
hard.
We need a blog post about X different ways to vacation so hard you're tired.
Coming right up.
Keeping going here. Next up from John Kagan, at John Kagan on Twitter. Hey, at Jenny Marvin, I'd like to reopen the match type name survey you did and submit, quote, oh, to heck with it. Do whatever you want to do. You aren't listening to me anyway, quote, match.
I like that.
And if you don't remember, Ginny had a match to try to rename exact match because it was misleading.
Yes.
I think we came up with close match or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which was in there, right? Didn't one of your suggestions make the
Mine
final?
was dumb match.
Yeah.
It didn't make the cut.
I think people would have
Stupid
voted for
match,
that.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Next up, we have a lot of them. This is where I let it flow out, not through me though. It's not intrinsically. I'm letting the community speak here.
Well, I think the community agrees with us. This is why we shut up earlier.
I didn't see one positive tweet about this. Okay. Next up, from Robert Brady at Robert_Brady on Twitter. If Google Ads really trusted their machine learning, they'd turn on close variant and intent matching for negative keywords.
Don't let them do that. Don't suggest things like
Hashtag
that, Robert
PPC
Brady.
chat. Okay, I think I know who you're not picking.
I'm not
Okay.
picking him. No.
All right. And last up, the one and only Bryant Garvin at Bryant Garvin on Twitter. Also, search isn't just audience-based, and users don't think of it that way. Users expect a direct match between what they searched for and the information provided on the SERP, which means search engine results page, and what they find when they go to the website. Okay, so you've got 6 there. Jess, who is the winner? We started with Mark Gustafson, then Melissa Mackey, then Julie Bacchini, then John Kagan, Robert Brady, and Brian Garvin. Who is the take-off winner?
I am going to go with, and I'll explain why. It's not necessarily the hottest take, but I think it's the most constructive criticism. And since we're trying to be positive and this would actually be really useful, I am going with Julie F. Bacchini at Neptune Moon on Twitter because, yes, it would be better for advertisers if they would suggest brand new queries as keywords and let us decide. That'd be great.
All right,
That'd be helpful. That'd be nice.
We're going to make a trophy for this and send it out. So, all right.
Although nobody else is wrong. I just
right.
like her positivity.
All right. Thank you, Julie. Congrats on the win.
All right.
And now it's time for this week's lightning round.
Pew! After the fire comes the lightning. And at this point in the show, we split up our content into 2 parts, paid and
Non-paid.
I cover everything to do with advertising, aka paid, and Greg covers the organic or
Non-paid.
and here's what's happening in paid this week, but I realized I did say it correct. We went from fire to lightning, but really in like the real world, that'd be backwards. Lightning would strike and then there'd
It's
be
the
fire.
whole chicken and the egg thing. You don't know what's going on in those clouds. Where do you think all the stuff comes from? There might be fire up there. You don't know. You've never been there.
Fire clouds. You're right. I've never been up there. All right. Deal. I'll take that. So I was right. Okay. First up.
The real question is it the sound first or the fire/lightning?
Well, it depends if there was anyone in the woods when the tree fell, Greg.
Yes, or if they had ears or not.
Also a good question. they might not have ears
Different
up in the sky.
Different velocities of traveling.
Yeah, and the size of their ears.
I don't know
You
if
take
that
in more
plays in. I'm
sound
not
if
a
your ears are
math
bigger?
guy like yourself, but maybe.
A math
All right, what do we
guy
have
and an
first
ear
here,
doctor.
Jess?
First, we have a big thank you that I would like to give to Microsoft Ads.
The platform formerly known as Bing Ads.
Absolutely, because by next month, so we're in August here, so I guess by September, we're going to be able to add campaign level audience associations in Microsoft Ads. This is for both targeting and exclusions. If you didn't know, previously this was only available at the ad group level, which, to be honest, was very annoying.
Yeah.
Very.
It just makes way more work.
Yeah, way more. And that was their point. They're like, well, we realize that your time is valuable. So here's something nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Exactly.
Microsoft Ads.
Yeah. Long time coming, but I'll take it. All right, next. Facebook advertisers continue to shift ad spending to Instagram stories. And this is a story from Digiday. So yes, more folks are starting to spend their precious ad dollars on Instagram stories versus some of the other placements. And,
Did you see the related story that went alongside with this?
I don't know if I did.
Oh, it was Facebook continues to make less money off of Greg Finn because he doesn't use stories.
Did you write that story? Or is it just the truth?
It's just the truth.
It's just the truth. But that's part of this. They didn't explicitly say that, but it comes down to a couple of things they said. And again, people should read the whole thing if they want to know all of the factors that went into this, because they did talk to a lot of marketers. But cheaper placement, for one thing, Instagram stories, but then also user adoption. They talked about that. People actually use stories on Instagram, so it's a good place to advertise.
Do you know what they didn't talk about?
What?
That 90% of the people spending money on Instagram stories just had it auto checked by default and didn't know they're spending money on Instagram stories, and it just went there because it was cheaper to get a click there instead of on Facebook and news feed, because a Facebook news feed click is more valuable than Instagram story click. That's what was probably not on there. I didn't read your article, but I can just guess they didn't talk about that.
They didn't talk about that, and I wasn't going to talk about that, so I'm glad that you brought it up. The interesting thing, though, on the flip side is that the article did say that the best performing as far as getting direct responses, which again, define that any way you want, the best performing ad type, or I guess not ad type, but the best performing type of creative that you can have in your Instagram stories is a poll, which is fairly new. We've talked about that, plus a 5-second boomerang video. So people are actually creating that just for Instagram, so that's not necessarily the automated placement, but I think you're absolutely right. And that was the first thing that ran through my mind.
And that may be why, right? In that case, you're doing a poll, you're doing a 5-second Instagram story or post or ad or whatever it is specifically. You are making that for Instagram. The problem is that with the ability to have things morph into Instagram stories without smart or good advertisers knowing it, then automatically it goes there because it's the path of least resistance because nobody wants it.
No, and not if it's not created specifically for that. And it's, by default, it's automatic placements. You talk to a Facebook rep, they tell you automatic placements are the best. Yeah. There's all kinds of reasons for this. You're probably right. They didn't talk about that in the article, so.
Okay. I got to turn the ship around. I'm getting dark. I'm getting over to the dark arts here.
Well, we're still going to talk about Instagram in this next story. So strap in. Amy Gazenhaus at Marketing Land asked the question, has Instagram increased its ad load? Marketers report as many as 1 in 4 post their ads. Now, we talked about whether or not we are math guys, and I think we can do it here. 1 in 4 is 25%. Yeah?
I think you divide 4 into 1. It seems like 40%.
I think you're wrong.
Okay. I'll trust your instincts on that.
Either way, 25 or 40%, that's a lot of ads. And it's 25, 1 in 4. Yeah. But to be clear, we were just talking about stories a minute ago. This goes for stories and newsfeed ads. So just people are seeing a lot more ads on Instagram. And again, if you want to see the details and the numbers, check the show notes. But there's a lot of things happening here.
Who's our resident Instagram expert here? Is it you or is it Hope?
It's probably Hope.
Hope.
She uses it a lot more than I do. I look at it, she posts more.
Okay, Hope.
Yeah.
Do you see 25% of Instagram being ads or no?
I don't know the specific percentage, but yeah, there's a lot of ads. It's too much.
So you think it's too much, but according to this article, it actually fluctuates based on user behavior. So if you're engaging with ads, you're going to get more of them. So that might be your own fault.
Stop clicking on those ads, Hope.
Which is good to know. The other thing that I didn't know that it said in here, which blows my mind, is that it's not just about how you behave with ads on Facebook or on Instagram. It's also how you behave with ads across other platforms like Facebook. But my ad behavior on the two platforms is completely different. So I don't know what they're doing there, but something to note, I didn't know that's how it worked. Did you?
No, no idea.
Did you, Hope?
No.
Nobody knew. Now y'all know. Okay, next. Facebook is going to remove thousands of outdated interest targets for advertising. And the good news is, according to Facebook, the vast majority of advertisers won't notice the removals. So that's good. The bad news is I can't, for the life of me, find any information on what these interests are.
I thought I saw something like memorabilia was one of them. Yeah. Wasn't there a image of that somewhere?
I didn't see it.
Okay. Because I got very worried for Shep and her Barbie collection. Yeah. Memorabilia. How she could get those $10 bills for all those Barbies she's got.
I don't know. I mean, if it's thousands, I'm sure there's not a list out there. But I guess the good news is if you're using any of these, they will notify you at some point this month and let you know when you actually need to remove them. So that's great. Just know that's happening, and sorry for the memorabilia collectors. Next up, as you know, Google Ads Editor was updated last week, and we're all in love with the new dark mode, but there were a lot of other updates that came out of that. Queen of Darkness. Yes, thank you for calling me that last week. I was touched.
You're welcome.
In my absence that you remembered who I was. So
how could I forget this?
Never.
Funny story. Jess was once talking about how to do laundry and was like, well, when you put the whites in, you should put the whites on this setting for X amount. But I don't have any whites. It's all blacks.
It's true.
Hashtag Queen of Darkness.
Yeah, I might have like 2 or 3 white shirts and they get washed together away from everything else. Hashtag Queen of Darkness. And that dark mode, by the way, I was going to rant about it this week because I thought that they didn't change the text color in some of the pop-ups so that you couldn't actually read certain things, but they either fixed it or I was crazy because I haven't been able to replicate that. So I'm all in on that dark mode. It's really nice. Anyway, there were many other changes, and Barry Schwartz at Search Engine Roundtable has a rundown of all of them. So if you're curious about the new things that are going on with the new Google Ads Editor version 1.1, you can check that in the show notes.
In one note, there was some confusion on Twitter about one of the changes. The new 1.1 will not support responsive ads. Somebody misquoted that as being a responsive search ad.
Oh.
In case you don't know, there's a responsive search ad, a responsive display ad, and then a responsive ad. A responsive ad was what was replaced by a responsive display ad, aka an RDA. And then the responsive search ad, an RSA, which is different than an RLSA, which is a marketing list for search ads. So the thing that's gone is the old display ad, aka the responsive ad. You can still update responsive search ads, and you can still update responsive display ads. And on that point, I'm putting my resume in to Google's HR department.
What do you want? What job do you want?
The naming team.
Thank you. Yes, someone needs to take that job.
Because there's ads manager and then there's ad manager. 2 completely different things.
That's a good point.
And to have something called responsive ads being replaced by responsive display ads and then having responsive search ads, it's insane to try to teach this to people and to try to educate people. And somebody needs to be on the naming team, and I'm volunteering myself.
That's good. Well, you wanted to name name the new match type Dumb Match. So I feel like you're a shoo-in.
If I get the job, it'll be Dumb or Stupid Match tomorrow. Maybe Exact will be dumb and Phrase will be stupid.
And Broad will be the only thing that actually kind of works now, which is a scary, scary thing. All right, well, back to this Google Ads Editor bonus content. And I wish, that sound.
No, I do now, though. I was just educated on it.
Like they hype things up at clubs and stuff.
Bum, bum, bum.
No, the other one. The one that goes, pew, 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 pew.
Like the sad trombone?
No, it's like a happy one. It's like, get your fire
Happy
up.
trombone.
Happy trombone. Whatever. We don't have it is the point. I wish we did because we got some bonus content here. And this is from Scott Wright, who is at SC Wright as in RIGHT on Twitter.
But his last name is with a W.
I know.
Scott, what are we doing here?
Yeah, well, he dropped the W, replaced it with a C. I don't know. Anyway, he found something amazing. And we have the link in the show notes. He calls it a hidden gem of Google Ads Editor, and it's being able to export as HTML so that you can review your campaigns kind of as an interactive dashboard to share with clients and show them all of the assets and things like that. It's really, really neat. Just check the link in the show notes.
I didn't know you could do that.
I
It's
didn't
insane.
either. It's crazy.
Scott.
That's why it's bonus content. That's why he's right.
Scott, you're not being hired on the naming team here at Google, but the Brilliant team, we're bringing you on.
Oh, the Brilliant
Team Brilliance.
Team Brilliant. Hashtag. Yeah. So check it, guys, because it's really cool. Lots of great new stuff in Editor. Check the show notes for all the details. Okay. Next, from Ad Exchanger, Hearst is building a self-serve platform that enables Facebook-style ad buying.
Can I change the title of this?
Yeah.
It should be Finally. Hearst is building a self-serve platform. What are you doing? What have you been doing for so long?
Printing magazines.
Funny sidebar. Jess and I once went into a local newspaper and we had some conversations about what, and you're going to be able to watch this video and you can tell via Jess's face that it's true. When the print version was going to be discontinued and people look like we just
Like we were
resurrected
there to kill them.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
like we did something atrocious.
Yeah, stepped on someone's grave or someone stepped on their graves or something. I'm bad at the phrases. They looked a
Yes.
gift horse in the mouth or whatever.
Yeah, not in the mouth. The other spot, the bad spot. And that's how they looked at us. The Maine. What are you talking? What are you laughing about? The Maine.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
And it was one of the most awkward times I've had professionally, asking a group of professionals when they were stopping the publishing with no thought ever
No.
that this would be reality.
But it is the reality. And Hearst is, I guess for the print industry, they're kind of ahead of the curve working on this ad platform, letting people buy things. Small guys like us with very low minimum budgets, apparently, to get into this platform. You can serve ads on their sites based on audience targeting, which sounds nice. It's not developed yet. They're working on it. But wouldn't you call that ahead of the curve for the print folks? I say that lovingly.
This is not ahead of the curve. It's 2019. Ahead of the curve is if it came out in 2009.
Yeah, but who else is doing it print-wise?
But who cares? I guess that technically makes you out of the curve by definition.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But that's what I never understood. How is there not somebody that takes the Google AdSense off of all these publishers and takes it in-house? You see B2B do this amazing. B2B websites is the model of taking it into your own hands and not relying on some easy AdSense-based system. And every publisher should have done. I cannot believe that these major publishers have not done this to date, that you have your own system. And then even more, how is there not a system that you could just purchase and be like,
Also
hey, it's a
good
self-serve system. Just hook it into your site. Here you go.
No, they're making their own because they
There you
want
go. Free idea of the day.
it. Yeah. Well, speaking of physical advertising, Pinterest has plans to advertise on TV, in print, and out of home, says their first CMO. And Greg, did you realize that there are people out there that still don't know what Pinterest is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought everybody knew, but that's because I talk to you guys all day and we all know. But Pinterest is advertising itself out in the real world. We're not talking about using Pinterest to advertise on TV. Pinterest is going to advertise itself on TV. They're going to break that digital barrier and step into the physical world. And they're
Great.
You know,
Good luck.
I know it's a thing. They're trying to build awareness about what they are and who they are. And did you see that IRL Twitter campaign that's been happening? People have been talking about it on the internet.
No.
No, it kind of reminds me of that. Just quick sidebar. Twitter is advertising itself out in the real world with funny tweets to remind everyone that they're awesome. And somebody said, they have a tweet like this in a subway station. Somebody's tweet was, me on Instagram cooking and plating beautiful healthy food. Me on Twitter sitting in bed naked eating an 8-piece box of fried chicken. That's funny. It's an IRL
Is that a
advertisement.
Twitter ad, though?
Yeah, it is. It's just Twitter posted a tweet. It's an ad for Twitter. Like, get back on Twitter. Funny things are happening.
Oh, okay. I don't get it, though. I mean, I get it that you're doing something beautiful on Instagram.
Yeah.
But why are you advertising the fact of Instagram? Why are you leading with the fact of Instagram?
I mean, I guess that's a good point, but they're sourcing UGC, right? User generated content, and like comparing themselves to other social networks and basically kind of making a joke of themselves. There's like a horse image. We'll make sure it gets in the show notes. It's kind of funny. I think it's funny. It's resonating with me. I've recently gotten back into action on Twitter because I think it's fun, and you can totally be way more of yourself.
You're a
on the Twitter.
GIF-aholic.
I am.
Yes.
It's fun.
We need to get you help.
I love it. Why? You don't
Too
like
many
them?
GIF? No, you're fine now. Just joking.
There's no such thing as too many GIFs. Get out of here. And finally, if you haven't already seen this on Twitter, because we've been hyping it up, George Wynn this week came out with a quick start guide to podcast advertising. And if you're doing the podcast thing, it's a great rundown of different ways you can monetize it, whether or not maybe you should do so. And there's a sweet quote in there from our very own Greg Finn. So you should not miss it.
And I use the word schlep.
You did use the word
I
schlep.
really enjoy that word.
It's pretty good. You're very quotable.
Another good word, schmuck, like the thing you wore as a kid.
I don't think there's an H in that. I think it's
I
just
put the
smock.
H in.
Oh,
I like
okay.
the H's.
So you're schlepping schmocks.
Yes.
Yeah, the
I
schmock
enjoy
schlepper.
that.
Greg Finn.
Just the sound. It's pleasing to the ear.
Speaking of pleasing to the ear, you want to talk about some non-paid news? Because I'm done.
Yes, and let's fly through this here. First up, from Andrew Hutchinson, as Instagram hides likes, young users are switching to business accounts, exposing personal data. And this article came out on social media today, and I feel like this is a WTH section, but it's also kind of brilliant, but kind of dumb.
Smart kids out there.
Yes. So Instagram has two types of accounts, personal and business. Businesses have to show email and phone numbers publicly. And so what children are finding is that they can get more analytics into their Instagram by changing their personal account to a business account.
These little baby influencers.
And so a study showed that around 2 million 12 to 15-year-old Instagram users currently have their phone and email information publicly listed on the platform. That's the bad news. Good
That's
news?
terrible
You
news.
want to know the good news?
No.
They have better analytics.
But what are you going to do with that?
Who knows?
Wait, first of all, couldn't you see how many likes you had anyway before? It's just that the public didn't see it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly if this is causation or just a loose translation or loose correlation of it. I don't know.
Kids will be kids.
Seeing numbers is hard on Instagram, but it's about to be even easier to see Assistant on Android. Pixel specifically. And this comes from Greg Sterling. Google swaps voice search on Android for Google Assistant. And so if you're a Pixel user, you used to be able to hit the voice search in the little app, and you would go right to your Google results. No longer. You now have Google Assistant. And when you hit the Assistant, you get Google Assistant, obviously. The problem is Google Assistant yaps back at you.
Oh,
Like
good point.
sometimes I just want search.
Good point.
I like search.
Yeah.
I don't need everything to be automated. Sometimes I like to choose. I like having that freedom and independence. So my problem is if I say something like, when is the new tool coming out? Oh, it's the first album since 2006. There it is. And instead, you just get Google Assistant yapping back at you.
Yeah, that's not always great. What if you're in the library?
Well, don't do this, for sure. Shh. All right. Well, something that is not going to show up in your assistant and instead on your inbox is that Google is now notifying Webmasters to remove no index from your robots.txt file. We talked about this maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. They all blend together. Who knows? But it's from Barry Schwartz at Rusty Brick on Twitter. And if you have a no index in your robots.txt file, which has never been a standard set by anyone, you're now getting an email from Google saying you need to remove this, or you should remove this. They don't it's not threatening you. They're just saying you should remove this. It's not supported.
Get rid of it.
All right, and some more fresh news from Google from Pandu Nayak, finding fresh, helpful information through featured snippets. There's been a change in Google this year that you may or may not have known. At Danny Sullivan, I believe was his at Danny Sullivan account on Twitter. It was also announced on his at Search Liaison account on Twitter, is that this change went live in late February of this year. And so there's a great example of why fresh snippets make the experience better for users. Talked about when Stranger Things 3 is going to release. One of my favorite shows.
I mean, I know you're really up on what happened this most
Never
recent
seen it,
season.
but I think I'd really like it. And the old example showed that the site that had earned the highest ranking and earned that feature snippet didn't have updated information. It said that it is estimated that Stranger Things 3 is coming out early in 2019 or whatever.
But
Then the new version said this is supposed to be slated to be at the new year or something like that. I don't know if that's factually correct.
I don't either. We got to check the internet.
Yes, the new version says that it is launching with a specific date. So they're saying that this helps users. Obviously, it's going to help anybody with Assistant specifically.
For sure.
I'm sure that's driving everything. Okay, hopping over to something even fresher because it doesn't even exist yet. It's from Frederick Depew at Coppernicks. Just go to our show notes, man, if you want to see this. But he is looking to refresh their Bing Webmaster Guidelines. Still Bing. He says, SEO friends, I'm kicking off an effort to refresh our Bing Webmaster Guidelines, both the spirit and the letter. Any shady tactics you think are not penalized enough? Any feedback on the document itself? And it links over. I kind of like this.
Yeah.
They're asking for help. Like, what are people doing? How are you being exploited?
That's great. I mean, there's things that, you might not even know.
Now, this is why I can't have nice things either. I immediately think that this is like a self-checkout line. Like, shouldn't you know some of this stuff? Like, why do I have to check out my own groceries?
Well, yeah.
I'm shopping.
I think they're just looking for some community
I
feedback
know.
from folks with issues.
know.
You're being a little harsh.
I
Also,
know.
I love self-checkout.
So anyway, there were a few. You like self-checkout?
Yeah, I know it takes away jobs. I don't like that about it, but
You're literally ending jobs. Literally.
But it's kind of like, did you ever used to like play store when you were little and you got to ring yourself out? It's kind of fun.
It's sad that in most stores are like, oh, the only way to get out of here fast is with self-checkout.
Yeah, but there's still a person monitoring it. There's still a human there doing a job, and they smile at you and say, "Have a nice
How
day."
capable on a 10 scale is that human usually?
I don't know. I have a lot of issues with self-checkout machines, and they've had to come help me several times. So capable enough, for sure.
All right. Well, anyway, there are a couple good thoughts on there, and one was from Joe Youngblood, and he said that branded footer links from web design agencies are out of control, and I agree.
Mm-hmm.
And it works, especially on Bing, because this is not advertising, so it's still Bing. It's not Microsoft advertising.
Right. Yeah. Confusing, right?
Yes. Another one that I thought was interesting was subdomain leasing, and this was from Lois H. and made a case for this in an article, but talked about some of these subdomains are being leased out for kind of inappropriate activity. And then, of course, I just pulled this up, and Glenn Gabe has a good one here that's voted up here about how about more information regarding mobile pop-ups, interstitials, aggressive, deceptive, and disruptive advertising, affiliate marketing, and having an understanding of what Bing deems okay versus out of the gray area. So I see that a lot with some of those interstitials. That's a great one from Glenn. All right. Another complaint storm waiting to happen is over in the Google SERPs from Barry Schwartz. Google suggested clips play in search no longer take you to YouTube. And on Search Engine Roundtable, he shows an example of when you perform a search. And the example was, how do you change a toilet? And you used to go to the specific spot in the video, which is cool. You click through, go over to YouTube, and you start right at that point. Now, a big light box opens, and you see the video in full. So obviously, if this happens, those marketers are not going to have some of the options of converting people into subscribers to hopefully get people over to their site to check out more things. I believe there was an ad in one of those that he showed, but still you lose the ability to convert that traffic into subscribers, which kind of sucks.
Totally sucks. Plus, never mind.
Okay, well, if you're looking for an alternative to YouTube, Vimeo has a new communication solution that brings the power of Vimeo to large organizations. That title just means Vimeo Enterprise.
Good name.
So it's not Vimeo Business. It's not Vimeo Pro. It's if you have a lot of money to spend on video and do live video without any of the issues that we see with YouTube. I mean, obviously, it's not ideal when you cannot control what's going to happen in many ways. You used to be able to take end cards off. You used to be able to make it look less YouTube-y. They took all these things away. So if you really want to control your stuff, go enterprise. And Vimeo's got a solution for you. It's going to be based off of your size and scale. And there's no pricing available. Obviously, it's going to be on a per case basis, AKA enterprise. Okay. On a more helpful note, Twitter is showing the profiles of new followers in the notifications tab for free.
Oh, I love
No
free.
enterprise.
Yeah.
And this came from Matt Southern again. And he's showing the example that when somebody follows you, you get to see more information about them. I like it.
I like
You
it.
can just say, oh, this person looks great. I'm going to follow them. Seems like they've got their stuff together. And I think it's ideal for engagement, collaboration, and just community, basically.
For sure.
So,
And they'll probably get a lot more follow backs out of it because you don't have to click through and vet the person. I mean, you're still vetting, but you know what I mean? It's all right there.
yeah, way less investigation to see
Yeah.
if somebody makes sense to kind of be a match to follow them. Something you may want to investigate, however, is that it's official from Max Malakis that deploying Facebook's like button on your website makes you a joint data slurper.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but it sounds like a villain on Stranger Things.
Or an animal.
Yeah, I went
Not
to the
an animal, a
I went to the
monster.
underground, the upside down.
Upside down. Come on,
I
you
hit
know
I hit
that
a
much.
slurper. Got me. You know?
What was that thing they were? Hope. What was it? The flayed, right?
The monsters are called demogorgons, but the flayer,
The flare. He flays people, so he's
Yeah.
slurping and flaying.
the mind flayer.
Mind flayer. That's it.
I thought it was mine slurp. Are
Well,
you
it
sure?
should be.
Okay.
You're
That's why we
talking to
have
the
her.
actual #1 fan of Stranger Things.
Oh, the actual number one. Shots fired.
I think she has a trophy that says on it "actual #1
All
fan."
right, so we need our tweet off or our takeoff trophy, and then we need our unofficial Stranger Things fan trophy.
Unofficial
for next-
actual.
Yeah, unofficial actual. There you go. Thank you, Jess.
You're welcome.
All right, the EU's highest court has decided that website owners can be held liable for data collection when using the so-called social sharing widgets.
Oh,
This is frightening, Jess.
that is because everyone uses. I mean, not everybody, but they're everywhere.
Yes. So there's a whole bunch more information at this article, but website owners must provide at the time of their collection certain information to those visitors, such as, for example, its identity and the purposes of the data processing. How are you going to know what Zuck's going to do with this data from this button on your
You're
site?
not. You never know until
Okay.
it's too late.
Well, this next article, I'm going to give you a disclaimer. This is just to toot my own horn. And this is from Social Media Examiner Michael Seltzner. And it's Beware of Facebook Groups. Long live communities. And Michael had done a poll asking if the engagement in everybody's Facebook groups has gone up or down. And 66% of people. Jess, I'm no math whiz like you, but 66% seems like about 2/3.
2/3 for sure. It's more than half.
Yeah.
So
4/6 almost, some say.
4/6. That reduces to 2/3. Yes, absolutely
Yeah.
correct.
All right.
Live math.
And this is something I've been on a long time. We see people all the time not invest in making their own community, building something on land that they own, on property they own, on their own domain, and instead taking the easy route on Facebook groups because it's simple. Well, Michael talks about the fact that Facebook has stopped supporting the Groups app in 2017, and then engagement is down.
Yeah. And we've been working together like, what, 6.5, almost 7 years at this point, and you have been calling this since then. It was like one of the first things I learned from you.
I never get it. I never get anybody's way that I don't get the shortcuts.
Right.
I don't understand shortcuts. And everybody does shortcuts. And they're like, oh, well, we can just put this up now and prove it as a test. The problem with that is if it does work, you are then stuck in a Facebook group and then your engagement's going to go down. And then in order to get in front of people again, you are going to have to pay money. And then that app that you love that Facebook put out, oh, it got discontinued in 2017 and you can't do anything. And I have articles about it.
You do.
It grinds my gears.
But doesn't this make you happy? I mean, not
None
happy,
of this
but
show makes me happy, Jess.
this is validating what you've been saying for years, and it's finally
Yes.
happening. And hate to say I told you so kind of thing here, but yeah, Greg's been calling it, y'all.
Okay. All right. Well, on a more positive note,
Yeah.
Google Data Studio has a tree map. And this, I don't know if it's actually news, but it's something fairly new, I guess, is that you can use a tree map as a horizontal filter menu. Again, maybe not news, but total wizardry from Mehdi Ahida at the Wizzy Analytics Twitter handle. And he found an awesome way to break data out by clicking on what looks like a horizontal navigation. All on one page, you can put all the information. You don't need multiple pages. You don't need drop downs. You just click like it's a website. You change the data in front of your eyes. And he has a great example breaking it down, and how you use it using a tree map chart. It's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Check it out.
pretty cool.
It makes it simple for your simpler clients. We don't have any of those here.
No.
Cypress
No,
North.
some folks do, though. Yeah.
Some folks do. So if you have simple clients, go find those. All right. Speaking of simple, Taylor Lawrence from The Atlantic talks about the Wikipedia for Generation Z. Jess, I'm a millennial. How about you?
I think I am too.
Hope, you're Generation Z. So there is now a Wikipedia for you. You don't have to stay up at night. You don't have to worry that you've been left out of Wikipedia. There's one for you. And best of, it's called Famous Birthdays. Jess, did you look at this Famous Birthdays site?
No, I didn't because I'm a millennial and I don't really care. But
Hope, have you seen famousbirthdays.com?
This is the first time I've looked at it.
Okay. Well, with Famous Birthdays, you can see whose birthday it is. And you can see who's trending. And so you can see
Trending
who's the
why?
most popular person in the world.
right now,
Yes, in the world.
I don't.
So, Jess, do you have any clue as to who's the most popular person?
I just opened it. And maybe
Don't
you were supposed to
cheat.
quiz me, but I don't know. I know who one of these 50 people are.
Okay, who's the most popular person?
Oh, wait, that's today's birthdays. The most popular person in the world, if I
Yes.
had to guess, Walt Disney.
That is maybe the worst guess that I've ever heard. You
my
couldn't
God.
be absolutely more wrong
my
in your life.
Well, I know I'm not going to get it right. I just
Do
feel like
not
everyone
pass
knows
go.
who he is.
What does he say in Billy Madison? What you have said.
I award you no points.
May God have mercy on your soul. Hope, do you know Jacob Sartorius?
No.
Hope,
Who's that?
I am taking away your Generation Z card.
Jacob who?
He is the most popular person in Generation Z.
I
do
want
you
to
know
know.
that?
I want to know how they calculate this.
Yeah, how do
They
they know that?
calculate it by popularity, Hope, and you don't know.
Who
You
is
are out
this
of
kid?
touch.
What's
You
his
must be on the
name?
high end of Generation Z.
What's his name?
Jacob Sartorius. He's 16 years old.
Oh, he's a singer.
He's the most popular person in the world right now?
Yes.
Oh my
No.
gosh, I've seen this kid. Isn't he dating somebody?
Probably. He's 16. He's probably dating like 50 girls.
I'm gonna look at his Wikipedia page.
50 girls. What is that? Is that
Don't-
what you do when you're 16?
Kids just like date around, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's not a negative. It's just kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's an internet personality.
Well, anyway,
So am I.
I just enjoyed the fact that I was looking at the site trying to figure out how old I was by how little I comprehended it. And it turns out I'm quite old. But I saw all these things like Jacob Sartorius, 16, Anne LeBlanc, 14, Maddie Ziegler, 16. And then in there was Matt LeBlanc,
Oh, we know him.
starred with Jennifer Aniston and Friends. And he's like thousands. He's
Of
not
years
popular
old?
anymore for
Oh.
Gen Z.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Well, they don't watch.
if you want to feel super old, head over to Famous Birthdays.
I do feel old. And you know what? I bet all these kids have the business Instagram account so they can have better analytics.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's
what's your
how
phone
they
number?
got
Give
famous.
Jacob a call there. Tell him hi. All right, next up, we're keeping it weird from Dean Sterling Jones. And there's an underground economy selling links from the New York Times, BBC, CNN, and other big news sites. This was on BuzzFeed News. We saw this via Casey G on Twitter, Casey Gillette, the pride of Avon, the best export since Tom Walls and the Wahlburger
Oh.
of Avon. It's a fact. Look it up.
Wahlberg.
Wikipedia.
Does she know them?
It's Avon.
So,
It's a
yes. Right.
It's a town.
No, but does she know the Wahlbergs?
Like Mark?
Isn't that what
Donnie?
Wahlburgers is?
No, it's different.
Oh.
It's
I'm thinking of
Tom.
the
Tom
show.
Walls.
I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Put them on famous birthdays. Maybe I'll learn.
BBC News has at least 10 articles with links that now redirect to sites advertising online gambling, free consultations with a bankruptcy lawyer, and a privacy browser that circumvents China's internet firewall. These are all on brand for what you think of when you think of somebody selling links, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. The only
But
thing
not the
that's not in
BBC.
there is a lot of pharma stuff. I thought there'd be a little bit more pharma, but just when I thought that, it gets good because they show an example about one of the Disney wives, Patty Disney.
Popular people.
Yes, related to the number one popular sensation right now, Generation Z, Walt Disney. Somebody made a WeLovePatty.com site to celebrate Patty Disney. They stopped hosting the site. And so what happened is this was linked to on something like New York Times or some fancy pants site. They took that link and then redirected it to a pharmaceutical site. I read that, Jess, and I get curious.
Of course. You want to click it.
Oh, I clicked.
What'd you see?
So now WeLovePatty.com goes to BlazeForDays.com. And it just didn't fail me. The internet didn't fail me, and I love it.
I love the internet.
Now, my only thing is, wouldn't it just be easier to make good content and be awesome? It seems so hard to do this.
You mean that the folks at Blaze for Days don't have great content?
No, I'm talking about these people that are going out and looking for all these broken links and then going and figuring out what scummy sites are going to buy links from a dead Disney person. Like, why don't you just make some awesome content about Patty Disney and get links or something?
Sounds like a lot less work than actually going to the depths.
Try hard.
Yeah.
In the words of Jess Budd, we try really hard.
We do. No one else does.
All right. And lastly, from Matt Southern, it's just the Matt Southern show here today and Ginny Marvin show. Google's John Mueller recommends keeping URLs under 1,000 characters. You know who else does? This guy.
That's a long URL.
That's huge.
That's
what are
many
you
characters.
doing?
Yeah, get out of here.
And that brings us to our real life segment.
Straight out of our accounts and into your ear hole.
It's time for Working Hard,
or Hardly Working,
where we talk about what is going on in our IRL work,
good,
bad,
or otherwise this week.
Jess, what's been happening in your accounts lately?
So I alluded to it earlier. Data Studio is on the fritz. Google Data Studio. Again, something Google going wild. We use this for a lot of reports that we do either internally to keep track of stuff or to show to clients. And this is something that I've experienced, but also several people in this office have been experiencing as of like the last 2 weeks. These reports are just breaking without anybody touching them. You get the little wrench icon that says that you need to fix a metric or whatever. And this is happening on client calls. And it's happening, at our desks and all this stuff. And the solution seems to be continue to refresh over and over and over again. And maybe by like the 89th time, your metrics show back up. Or in some cases, something actually is broken. You need to fix it. But something's going wrong. A lot of us are experiencing this. So keep an eye out if you're in your Google Data Studio and you see that little wrench. Just do a couple of refreshes, see if maybe it's not actually broken, because it might not be. But it also might be. So check.
Okay.
What do you got?
For me, I've this year come across new challenges with ads accounts. And some of the challenges are that you no longer can target a specific location. You can't target people in those locations.
Sigh.
If you want to know more about it, we can link to that show in the show notes. So now you can target people, again, that are frequently in that location or in that location now. And so what we see many times is that there can be some overlap there, and we don't actually want to show this ad to people in a certain spot. So what I started doing is just excluding that, and it's something I never had to use before, but it is called the User Location Report. So you go to your Locations tab within Google Ads, and then you look at those little tabs up on the top, and you go to User Location Report, and you can see, oh, man, you know what? I'm targeting New York City, and I'm getting all this traffic from Connecticut or something. I don't want that specifically. So you can take that and see where it's coming from, which is just helpful to know. And it's something I never had to do before, because you could target a location you want to show your ads. That's not possible anymore. So there we go.
That's pretty good. That's, a tool for folks.
Yes.
I hope they're paying attention. That's very useful.
All right. And now it's time for this week's
WH.
This week's WTH comes from Adrian Pasquarelli, or at She Likes to Shop on Twitter. And this comes from Ad Age. The article is called Chase Commits to AI After Machines Outperform Humans in Copywriting Trials. Jess, Chase says that ads created by Pursudos, you know what that name? Sounds like AI made it.
Yeah.
Pursudos.
Because it doesn't mean anything.
Exactly. So ads created by Pursudo's machine learning perform better than ads written by humans, with a higher percent of consumers clicking on them, more than twice as many in some cases. Pursudo is a New York company that applies artificial intelligence to marketing, creative, and possibly naming their own company. One digital ad written by humans read, "Access cash from the equity in your home." However, Pursudo's version, it's true. You can unlock cash from the equity in your home, perform better with customers. My thought is, there are advertisers and marketers, and there's bad marketers too.
Mm-hmm.
And no offense to all you banky folks out there, you don't really see the most creative stuff coming out of banky folks.
Right.
Also, I cannot believe that an actual AI software program for writing marketing ads could ever make it through any type of regulation or compliance from a banking company. That's insane to me to think that that could work.
That is an excellent point. But beyond that though, yeah, like let a machine write some copy, whatever. That's fine. I don't have an issue with the machine. Well, I do, because this machine's taking over our job. So back to the self-checkout. I guess this is my fault. But who's out there not testing different variations of their ad copy as humans?
And to me, this makes a ton of sense to help with ad copy combinations, to do things like Facebook Dynamic Creative, to see things like responsive display ads, not responsive ads. You can test different things out, and just putting one thing out there makes sense. And if you look at the copy from the two, one is just better copy.
Right.
And you can have somebody make good copy as well. Like it doesn't mean that just because you have some banky marketing person writing bad ads that AI is better.
Yeah. The other thing I was super offended by in this article was this quote where it says, if you go to any marketing creative out there and you ask, how did you come up with that? And why did you use that word and not that word? They cannot actually answer.
Who are you asking? What are you doing?
Exactly. Yeah. There's always an answer. And if you don't have an answer, then you're one of those bad marketers out there. But this is like, that's offensive because that is not true. Our clients ask us that. We have answers. We're like, well, we tested these two variations and this one worked. So that's why we're using
and this
it.
landing page works better with this message and so on and so forth.
You don't need AI to do that. You just need You just need a little bit of intelligence.
Wow.
Right?
We need to get that on a t-shirt. You don't need AI. You just need
I, right? Let the AI help you, but it should not be able to beat you guys. It's only 2019. We're not too far in the future. We are still smarter, I think, if we actually apply ourselves.
Yes.
If we try hard.
But to me, honestly, you look at this, you're not going to be able to have any kind of keywords. You're just going to go after audience.
That too.
You're not going to be able to have any bidding because you're going to just have to go with automated bidding because you can't actually bid based off of any specific keyword type. And so it's just going to be everybody bids. You're not going to be able to target a location. You're not going to even be able to target ads at this point because AI is going to take over everything. And then at what point is everybody just the same thing?
Right. You want to trust the machine, go ahead. But so is your competitor.
Fine.
And now you have no advantage.
No ads, no keywords.
Nothing.
No locations. We're all the same. Just all the same. We'll just go 50-50. Just start shooting the traffic 50-50. Or however many people are in there.
Because life is fair and that's how it's going to work. You and I are out of a job.
Okay. We got to get this over with. All right. And now for this week's Cool Tool.
As a reminder, our Cool Tool segment is not an official endorsement or paid mention. We're simply sharing something we found in our travels that may be of use to our listeners. And this week's Cool Tool comes from Ryan Jones at...
I believe you have to call him the Ryan Jones.
Ryan Jones?
Like Miami University. The Ryan Jones.
What is Miami
It's
University?
just like a contractual thing.
Okay. Oh, okay. But we're not under contract. I just said that to the people.
Oh, well, whatever.
All right. The Ryan Jones. He's over at SEODataViz.com. That's SEODataViz.com. And this tool is called the Engram Tool, and I'll be the first to admit that I didn't know what an engram was, or why I might need it. So I looked it up, and you should do the same. Get familiar, spend a few seconds on Google, and school yourself. But I'll explain what the tool does, and that'll kind of explain what an engram is. You toss in your list of keywords and it will create a visualization of various word sequences or the grams from your list based on how commonly they're used. So if you say the example that they give when you load up the site is a bunch of like Christmas drinks and Christmas cocktail things, and it pulls up, out of the longer tail keywords, what the more common phrases are. And again, it visualizes that. It's colorful, it goes by size, and it just gives you some easy, quick to look at insight that can help you frame your ad copy, your site content, maybe even your keywords themselves. You might see some ideas in there that make sense. So just a fun thing to play with, and it's absolutely free. Go check it out.
All right, and that brings us to our must-read marketing article of the week. An article so advanced, so in-depth, so detailed that we simply cannot cover it on today's show. This week's article comes from Elida Solis at Elida on Twitter, and the name of the article is 9 Practical Ways to Easily Use Google Spreadsheets for SEO Tasks. This is a great article that talks about redirects, comparisons, backlinks, mobile versus desktop, metadata visualization, and much, much more. If you are looking to help automate or visualize or just make your life easier in general and like spreadsheets, Google Spreadsheets specifically, this is the article for you. I am sure 1 out of the 9 spreadsheets here will help your life become easier. But Jess, I have an honorable mention this week.
Ooh, what do we got?
And I call this the We Try Hard Award. And I'm going to put the drop of you 2 weeks ago saying, we try really hard in right here.
We try really hard.
And this comes from Shai Aharoni over at Reboot Online. And this is called the Long-Term Duplicate Image Experiment. Jess, this is how you make a blog post. And what they did is they looked at the uniqueness of imagery. They did all these extensive testing over a decent number of months and looked in to see if duplicate imagery it performs much worse than having unique images. And they took all these different images, and the results weren't shocking. That's why it's the honorable mention. But they showed the unique images doing better, not only in image search, but also helping to, in their small sample size, lift up organic search traffic as well by having non-stock photos on a site. But that's how you make a blog post. The images are great. Everything's great. It's more like, hey, here's blog post 101.
Yeah, right? Well, and read it while you're at it because
Yes.
it's good content.
Thanks for trying really hard. All right, Jess.
That does it for today's show.
It is now officially not Marketing O'Clock.
Remember, you can catch everything from the show on marketingoclock.com. While you are there, please be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode.
And we will see you next week.